Joshua Jackson and Jackson Juicy J Wall for what's going to be an exciting day with a whole bunch of new cards. Yeah, not Joshua Jackson. He was in the Mighty Ducks.
I wish Joshua Jackson was here.
It would be so much better. Josh, can you call him up? Like ducks fly together. You know what I mean? Either way, we have a bunch of new cards, some veterans in the mix, and of course, some players trying to make their first ever trip to Clash Royale League World Finals. Andrew, it's going to be a fun July. We have 3 new cards. What's your favorite of the new goblins in our universe?
You know, it's really interesting. I feel like when Machine came out, it was the most dominant card we'd seen in a really long time. I think Demolisher is really the only viable one that is going to be played here this weekend. We'll see, though. We can see some cool cursing. But either way, I'm excited to see any of these new cards getting worked into the mix.
Joshua, in the overall Goblin verse, there's so many Goblin cards now. What's the best named Goblin card in the game?
Okay. So I have two. One of them is Goblins, just because I don't know if it was the Germans, but I started saying Stabby Goblins, and it's just so much fun. And then the other one, I would have to say Drill. It's my favorite genre of music, so I like seeing it in the game as well.
All right, little Ice Spice fan up here in the building. Jackson, are Andrew and Josh right? Did they get one wrong? Where you at?
I'm definitely with Josh all the way on the names there, and I gotta be exactly on with Andrew as well. I think the Goblin Demolisher we might see a little bit today. Very strong all around. I mean, it's like a dual kind of defensive card and win condition at the same time.
Well, a lot of players hoping to demolish their opponents and get themselves all the way to that golden ticket spot. Juicy, let's first take a look at how they got to this weekend.
Looking at the roadmap here, stage 1 is always Path of Legends. You have to get top 1,000 in Path of Legends. Stage 2 is the monthly qualifier. That 1,000 people through Swiss bracket, through group stage, it gets all the way down to 8. That 8 people are now right here, right now. Stage 3, the monthly finals.
That's right, and at the monthly finals, you know how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be the 8 players that Juicy just mentioned, whittled down to this double elimination bracket. That's right, 2 lives to give, and if you're Mama, maybe you give it up in the first match, maybe you don't ever give it up at all. Best of 3 matches using our out-of-game duel mode, which means you're going to have to practice your patience a little bit in between games so that our players can reset, readjust, and refire for their second and third games. And of course, the winner of this tournament here today, we're going to go from match number 1 all the way to the golden ticket. They'll be joining us at World Finals in 2024. Will it be Mohamed Light again, or will it be someone else to dethrone the King AC? 2 months left, a lot more money to go.
That's right. Hey, just for getting here, you can go 0-2-0-2, and that's happened before. You still walk away with $1,500 finishing 8th and 7th. $3,000 goes to 5th and 6th. $5,000 to 4th, $8,000 to 3rd, $11,000 to 2nd, and 17 grand. 17 big ones if you finish number 1 overall today, and a golden ticket to the World Finals. There is a ton on the line with only 2 to go.
There are, of course, lots of different ways to make it to World Finals. There's winning the golden ticket by winning a monthly final. We've done 3 of those so far, 2 more to go. There's our regular CRL points leaderboard, our community points leaderboard. There's what's happening over in our China region. There are a ton of ways to make it to World Finals. Josh, let's take a look at the players who've already gotten their ticket punched.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we see it right here. The golden tickets, April monthly final going to Mohamed Light, May monthly final going to Ta, June monthly final, that was the last month, going to Cal Pedro. Let's take a look at Pedro last month, beating Lucas 2-0. We see right there the finishing touches, just a very simple and a really good set overall. We know that Pedro can show up when it comes to the World Finals. He was able to finish top 3 last year, and I really expect him to do well. His stage presence is like no other. He was able to go 2-0 against Lucas, 2-0 against Riley, 2-1 against Ta, and he wasn't able to finish it going against Mohamed Light. Was 1-2, 0-2 against him in the World Finals, but hey, or at the end of the finals. But look, it doesn't matter. You win $11,000. You're gonna be able to get it to World Finals, and I mean, once you get to that stage, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how great you were at the beginning of the season. It matters then. And I mean, Pedro, he's got to feel good for this year.
All right, next we're going to be looking at the leaderboard here. So as you saw on the previous graphic, there are multiple different ways to make it to the World Finals. One of the ways is through this leaderboard. Adriel currently sitting at #1. If the monthly finals ended now, everything was over, Adriel would make it to the World Finals. But as you saw, Adriel's not in this month's monthly finals. We have 2 players on this leaderboard playing today. We have Lucas and Sub. They're going to be able to get some extra points to maybe make it there. We have another leaderboard. Rich, walk us through the community leaderboard.
Of course, outside of Clash Royale League, lots of community events throughout 2024. Some happening right now. You can go to event.supercell.com /Clash Royale to try to find your way through all those events, and you will gain points not on top of the prizing you can win from those different competitions. Right now, Riley in the lead, but still you see some of those players like Lucas, who's here this weekend. More than one way to get yourself that ticket to our World Finals. So that's a really important part of this one. But let's talk about right now, not what's happening elsewhere. Andrew, let's look at our 8 players and what they have to do today to win that golden ticket.
Yeah, the fastest way to do a golden ticket is right here, right now, today. We got 8 players that are ready to go. Mohamed Light starting things off against Rainbow. Will Momo drop his first match? That is the biggest question here. Obviously doing it the last 2 months, then turning things around, taking that crown. Morton and Clown. We got Goten going up against Clown, who's one of Mo Light's practice partners. That's going to be an exciting match number 2. Match number 3, 2 of the best players in the game yet to hold that world trophy. Of course, Ardentois and Lucas. Excited to see both of them here. And at the bottom of your screen, we got Sub, who is a competitive player who's starting to really build a name for himself, going up against one of the biggest content creators in the game in Pompeo. Really excited to see all 8 of these gentlemen compete here today for World Finals. And of course, what does that mean? That means predictions are coming. And as Rich just said, event.supercell.com /Clash Royale for you to get your own predictions in. You have to predict from match 1 all the way through the finals. And I know it seems a little weird on the website, but that's how you do it. So go do that right now so you can get your in-game rewards. Boom, you see it right there. Juicy is calling Mo Light to drop that first set once again. I just don't know, Juice. I just don't know if it's going to happen again. The thing here, though, is we got me and Juicy going for Clown in match number 2. Rich and Josh going for Morton in match number 2. Rich, what are your thoughts here on Goten taking down Clown? I mean, Clown has been so good lately. He barely missed World Finals last year. What makes you think Morton's going to edge him out today?
Well, I really like who Morton's working with for analysis. I really like what Morton's doing overall. And look, really this is more than anything. You can see my whole list, and same thing as Josh. We're both going old school. I'm picking veterans. I'm picking Mohamed Light. I'm picking the man with more World Finals appearances than anybody in Morton. I'm picking the old school 2.6 god turned back-to-back monthly final champion without a coach, Lucas. And I'm picking the Pomp deck to pump Pompeo to the finals.
Wow, I mean, that was really, really well said. Juicy, you and I are on the exact same page other than Mo Light. What are your thoughts here on the following 3 matches with Clown, Arden, and Sub?
I think the biggest thing to say is, number 1, Mohamed Light is the best player in the world, but in the first 3 monthly finals, Mohamed Light lost the first round, and then he went through the entire lower bracket run and the bracket reset and won the whole thing. I mean, I just gotta pick it again. I did it last month. I got to do it again. We're going to pick Rainbow to beat Mo Light, not because he's better, but because Mo Light's just a little bit nervous in that first set.
It does tend to happen. It ends up being the thing that Mohamed Light does, but that's the Mohamed Light way. Lose game 1, lose match 1, and then run through the lower bracket, get those those jitters out. But Andrew, you and I were talking before show, and is this maybe the day where Mohamed Light wins? Do you have this? There's a feeling in the air, right? Does he win today in number 1, and then maybe, just maybe, someone else actually wins a monthly final?
It's like when you go and you play roulette. Don't gamble, kids. But you go and you play roulette, and it lands on black 17 times in a row, and you're like, there's no way it's gonna land on black again. I have to pick red, and then it lands on black once again. So I don't know, for some reason today it feels like this is the day for Mohamed Light. It's also a brand new meta, right? Like, the game feels more balanced right now than it has in a really, really long time. I'm excited to see the tower troop conversation. You know, it went from only Dagger Duchess to now maybe only being Princess. So we've talked in the past about maybe Momo being just a step behind on adjusting right away, or maybe he can't hit his S+ tier as quickly as he'd like when the meta just changes. So maybe maybe today all things will come together for Rainbow to send Molite down to the lower bracket, and then someone else, obviously, because he never seems to lose in that lower bracket.
And, you know, Jackson, talking about Rainbow, he had a nice performance, 5-1 during the group stage. Had a few games where he lost game 1 and made the comeback. It feels like you want to come out firing against Mo in that game number 1 if you're going to have a chance against him.
Oh yeah, you gotta use your best decks. You gotta just play very well, and you have to take in fact that the nerves are gonna happen with Mo. I think it was the second monthly final where Faust was actually playing in an airport against Mo in the first round and was still able to win anyways. We have a interesting graphic here: 90% for Mo and 20% for Rainbow. An extra 110% total here. Absolutely legendary. I mean, that just goes to show that more people are believing in Rainbow than possible.
And you know, Josh, Rainbow, we're getting a little bit of love for him in the group stages with Katashian, Coco, and Victor, which was certainly not easy. Did take a loss to Katashian, as I said before, 5-1 overall. When you think about the things that make Rainbow really, really solid, what can he lean on here against Muhammad Light?
You know, that is a fantastic question, and I do not have an answer because it feels like everything is so fresh right now, especially with the meta and how everything's going. We were talking about it all day. We might see Hog in every single set, so I'm not exactly sure just yet. And right here, set number 1, Molite, already running Hog.
Rainbow did play Monk in all 6 of his matches during the group stage. Very consistently leaned on this as his most played champion throughout the Sunday phase from last weekend. And the Mighty Miner out for Muhammad Light. So far, no new goblins. A little chip damage in on the reflection. Royal Giant aggressive from Rainbow to open up.
Yeah, right there. Very clean defense from Muhammad Light. Gonna already have the Evo Skeletons in cycle. Is that gonna get a second shot? It will. So RG putting in a lot of work, and Mo Light, I mean, as well as he defended right there, still took quite a bit of damage.
Mo played this deck one time during the group stage, did get a win with it. Very solid with this one, although he did have the Tesla as his Evo as opposed to the Skeletons in that one. Certainly feeling happy for those Evo Skeletons after that first exchange.
Rainbow just trying to set up. He got his early push in, and usually with these kind of RG decks, you're trying to set up double RGs, but now with the Evos and everything, especially with the Monk's help, you only need one these days.
Hog gonna go ahead and do a little work here, 2376 to 2303 with the first couple of minutes of gameplay already passing. As we get into double elixir, Josh, what are some keys for Muhammad to watch out for as the pushes for Rainbow start to get a little bigger?
Yeah, oh my, this is actually incredibly massive. This is exactly what you want if you're Muhammad Light. That's going to be one shot and almost a second, but not just quite. Really, you just want clean defense, and it's never going to be too difficult conceptually if you're the Hog player. All